Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah.
Melanated!
Well, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is iced Earl Grey tea. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's start off with some really happy, exciting news. Sandra Bland's mother has been at the front lines. She has been fighting the good fight for mothers, women, Black people in the name of Sandra Bland and trying to get some resolution. She has not let go of Waller County. She has not allowed them to do to her child what so many other counties around this country have done, which is get away with the blatant brutality of Black people. So Waller County settled with Sandra Bland's family for $1.9 million in a wrongful death suit. She wants to be there to help other mothers, and I think that is so beautiful and that is so wonderful. And I just am grateful that they admitted that there was a wrongful death, and that sets a very new precedent. Actually, I wrote it down. Let me just read my post because I'm so eloquent in my Facebook post. Sandra Bland's family settled for $1.9 million on a wrongful death suit. Why is this a big deal? It's not about the money, but it will set a precedent. Substantive changes will be put in place. The Waller County judge will be seeking state legislation to try and address intake and booking procedures. Any legislation that comes from that will be named in honor of Sandra Bland. And I think that that is a great, powerful step in the right direction. On this post, we have a dissenting voice, unduly negative. The person said, but that's like taking a Tylenol for an amputation. Sir, fine, if that's what you believe. But can we just have like maybe 24 hours of celebration? Can her family have 24 hours? Can I have 24 hours of celebration before you try to tell me that that's not enough? That we need to then stop amputations? That maybe, and my question is, what, sir, are you going to do to get us some Vicodin? You know, like, can we have a little celebration, or do we have to just keep grinding until we're 125 years old? Why do people have to be so negative so quick? We know that. I know that it's like Tylenol. But why can't I be happy for Sandra's family? Why can't I just rejoice that she got some money so that she can continue her fight? Her mom. Why can't I rejoice in that? Why can't you let me have that? I just get frustrated when people throw in a word of dissent when they're not actually doing anything to solve the issue. And I'm fine with a little bit of something. Maybe not forever. Certainly not forever, but just a week, a week, maybe. Can we celebrate for a week without the voice of dissent, without the negativity? We know. Those of us who have been fighting the fight for years, we know. Anyways, that's great news. And I just wanted to say that in case you guys hadn't got the good word. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Patricia Brown is a fourth grade teacher in Atlanta, and right now her body and clothing choices are under fire. I see nothing wrong with what Patricia is wearing. My question is, what is she supposed to wear? The girl got body. She's wearing a dress that fits her because that's how dresses fit these days. Even if she were to come to school in a maxi dress, which I think might be inappropriate and seen as very casual, she would still have body. A child most likely, and I'm not saying all kids, I'm saying most kids aren't looking at Miss Brown and going, damn, she got body. Your little children aren't looking at her going, ooh, I'm thinking of sex because Miss Brown got body. They're not. They're only thinking of that because you're making a big deal. She has no cleavage showing. Like I said, she's covered from here to here. And every picture that's on social media that shows what she looks like when she goes to work. Why am I projecting that onto them? They're innocent bystanders. We're the crazy adults who are thinking of these things. Because I feel like this is a little bit of an attack on Black women, mainly because Patricia Brown phenotype seems that she is a Black woman, or curvy women, or whatever we're talking about. But I want to know what these people think that she should be wearing, because there is nothing that I can, even if she were to be wearing an A-line skirt, Mama still got body. Even if she were wearing a turtleneck, Mama still got body. There is nothing that she can wear, in my opinion, that I can think of where it wouldn't show. Even if she wore slacks, which would look terrible on her form, unless she got them custom made, because we all know, girl, if you got booty and you got hips and you're trying to be in slacks, like, it's a no-win situation. What do you want her to do? She's not being inappropriate, and she's not advancing on your fourth grader. Stop feeding into this patriarchal society where we want to tell women how and what to do with their body, and we want to police them in every single way. I was watching the Grapevine TV here on YouTube, which is one of my most favorite YouTube channels. I will have links down below or links up above, maybe both. I don't know. Go watch them. They have such interesting topics, poignant conversations from millennials, and I just love everyone on it. I love it. Okay, so this week's episode, they're talking about being multiracial or being biracial or whatever it is, and how that affects you in the Black community. And one of the topics that came up was Jesse Williams and his speech, and how there were a lot of Black people who were very upset because they feel like Jesse Williams doesn't represent Black people because he is not Black. He is biracial. And my opinion, I was raised with the one drop rule. I always think Black multiracial or biracial people, I always think of them as being Black. Now, recently, I have discovered that there are Black biracial people who don't want to be considered Black because they don't want to deny the other part of their heritage, which at first I was a little offended by, because all of my life I had been told that they were Black and one drop rule, blah, 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 blah. But then I had to realize that that is not my fight, and I am not biracial, so I have no idea what that's like. And like, let me be respectful to these people and allow them to identify however they choose to identify. But I find it incredibly rude when there are Black people out there who are like, they're not Black, they're biracial. If Jesse Williams identifies himself as a Black man, that I should respect that. And I shouldn't be telling him that he's not Black. I don't like it when it happens on my channel, when somebody makes a comment about that, like, well, oh, this person's not Black, so they can't be blah, blah, blah. I feel like in this country, we go on phenotype, right? And so in my mind, if I look at you and I don't go, oh, that's a white person, then you are whatever the other thing is. So if I look at a half Asian, half white person and I look at them and I go, oh, you're not white, I'm going to refer to them as being Asian until they correct me, because that is what I see, and that is the country in which I was raised in, and I will desperately try to curb that and not do it, but unfortunately, that is where my mind is. I mean, I'm not going to go up to them and be like, you're Asian, but that's how I'm going to identify them as until they correct me, or until I know otherwise. And so now my question is this. Tracee Ellis Ross has become the first Black woman in 30 years to be nominated for an Emmy in the category of comedy. Now, those of you out there who feel like biracial people are not Black, even if they identify as a Black biracial person, how do you feel about this? Do you think, no, we still haven't gotten that? Because Tracee Ellis Ross, though her mother being Diana Ross, a former Supreme and Black woman, her father is somebody else, Ellis, who is not Black. He is a white man. I personally consider Tracee Ellis Ross a Black woman. She considers herself to be a Black woman. How dare I strip that from her? How dare I strip that from her? That is her identity. That is how she travels through this world. And I wonder if those dissenting voices will step up and be like, no, a Black woman still hasn't been nominated in 30 years. Whatever. All right. right, so let's talk about Clinton and her basket of deplorables. So I'm going to throw some math at you right now because I find this whole argument very interesting. There are a lot of Clinton-Trump arguments going on right now simultaneously, and I would just like to talk about the fact that we hold Clinton to a different moral and higher standard than we hold Trump, and I don't understand why. I mean, I get that there are people who don't like them equally and they hold them to the same bar, but Trump has done way more damaging things to this election, to the American people, and to our image outside of the US. So earlier this week, Clinton referred to half of Trump's supporters as being what she calls in a basket of deplorables, that they are homophobic, they're sexist, they're misogynist, they're racist, they're all of these things, right? They're all of these words that nobody ever wants to be associated with, even though they 100% are these things. I personally don't understand why someone who feels like women have certain roles and men have certain roles, why they don't recognize that they are being sexist. Like, if you read the definition of what sexism is, you are being that. So go on ahead and admit it. Because there are some things that I think of that I find myself going, oh shoot, well, Ahmed, that's sexist. You're being sexist right now. Okay, let's work on that. But the people who completely deny that they're being sexist or racist or xenophobic or homophobic, they're those people I can't deal with. You know, I would rather deal with the KKK who tell me, who go, no, we're racist. No, we hate blacks, we hate Jews, we hate Mexicans. Like, we hate them. We're racist. Live in it. Live in your truth is what I say. Whether or not you agree, Trump is a xenophobic, racist, sexist, misogynist. He is. He is. You know, he has made several comments, said and done several things that prove all of these points. I did some math, very simple math, and I did some Googling. So here's what I came up with. There are about 324 million Americans. 126 million voted in the 2012 election. That is about 57% of that 324 million. If you do the math and you take half of the 126 and give half of it to Trump and the other half to Hillary, even though I know it's not correct because it's not half, and then you take that half and you have it in half again, you have 31.5 million Americans. So Clinton is saying that 31.5 million Americans belong in the basket of deplorables. If you are racist, if you are homophobic, if you are xenophobic, that is a problem. You should really be working to not be those things. I'm not saying that you can't have your prejudices. Like, people have their prejudices. I have my prejudice for sure. Have I had to pull myself back and be like, yo, Ahmed, you're being racist? Absolutely. Because I'm a human who grew up in America, in a place where my race affects me directly. But I admit that. And if you can't admit your racism, or if you're black and you believe you can't be racist because only white people can be racist, tut that nonsense. Now, only white people's racism affects people of color. It affects us. But my racism towards another group only hurts their feelings. It doesn't affect policy. It doesn't affect police. It doesn't affect any of these things that cause people to be dying or to be treated unfairly or to be put in prison or to be aggressed against. It doesn't do that. That's what I believe. Fight me. I don't care. There are 37 million black people in the United States. Donald Trump believes that at least 30 million of that 37 are poor, jobless, uneducated, with Trump being racist and xenophobic and all those things to all these people, which probably equal more than the 31 million that Clinton was talking about. So he has his group of people too that he finds deplorable. He just talks about them in the most disgusting ways when he's up on stage. Actually, this is my morning tea. It's a long one. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you want to add to this conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Bye.